This song was put together back in the 1930s by a fellow some of you may know. His name was Woody Guthrie. Woody has been in a hospital now for 10 years. Probably won't write another song. But he was one of the greatest ballad makers I guess I'll ever know.
Hey everybody, I'm here to tell you guys all about Woody Guthrie and why he deserves to be in the APUSH Hall of Fame. I bet a lot of you have no idea who Woody Guthrie is, and that's completely fine because I'm going to tell you everything you need to know right now. Woody Guthrie was a very famous folk singer and activist in the 1930s and 40s. He was born on June 14, 1912, which is the same year Woodrow Wilson was elected president. Now, actually, Woody Guthrie's full name is Woodrow Wilson Guthrie, which is weird. Who would name your kid after the president? That'd be like naming your kid Barack Obama Johnson. Anyway, Woody Guthrie was born in Okemos, Oklahoma, which is a poor little town in Oklahoma which was hit really hard by the Dust Bowl. It influenced a lot of his early songs, like Talkin' Dust Bowl Blues, about the hard times people faced during the Dust Bowl.
So I hit the road when I was about 13 years old, doing all kinds of odd jobs all over the country and traveling amongst all these kind of people, and actually picked up a lot of songs and a lot of funny different versions of a lot of folk songs and ballads. And I've been traveling all around at depots and bus stations and waterfronts and cafes and everything else, saloons, picking up nickels.
Woody Guthrie never stayed in one place for that long. He was constantly traveling. He went from Oklahoma to Texas to Los Angeles to New York to Portland, Oregon to Florida, and then back to New York. He was everywhere. He traveled the entire country, which gave him the ability to write songs that could relate to anyone and everyone. Guthrie wrote about very controversial topics for his time, including social justice, corruption in business and politics, and the struggles of migrant workers, because he himself was a migrant worker. His songs from this time showed the outsider status of many people. Songs such as Ain't Got No Home, Hard Travelin', Going Down the Road Feelin' Bad, and Talkin' Dust Bowl Blues all showed his desire to give a voice to the disenfranchised.
I've been hitting some hard traveling, I thought you know. I've been hitting some hard traveling way down the road. I've been having some hard traveling, hard rambling, hard gambling. I've been hitting some hard traveling, Lord.
Woody Guthrie was very anti-fascist, and so in World War II he joined the Army and the Marines in the fight against fascism. He wrote many anti-Hitler songs. The most famous one is All You Fascists Bound to Lose. Very straightforward with his titles. He also wrote This Machine Kills Fascists across his guitar, so he was very passionate about it. And here's a picture of him with his fascist-killing guitar.
Well, I'm going to tell you, fascists, you may be surprised. People in this world are getting organized. You're bound to lose. You fascists bound to lose. All you fascists bound to lose. I said, all you fascists bound to lose. Yes, sir. All you fascists bound to lose. You're bound to lose. You fascists bound to lose.
Woody Guthrie traveled to 45 of the, at that time, 48 United States before he had to check into a hospital in New York for health issues. Woody Guthrie died of Huntington's disease at age 55 after having written nearly 3,000 song lyrics, 2 novels, and countless drawings and poems. He was a true artist in every way, giving to the world probably the best depiction of the 1930s and 40s that exists. So now you know all the facts, but you're probably still wondering, why is he so important? Why should I care about him 101 years after he was born? What mark has he left on America that is that significant? How many of you know this song?
This land is your land, and this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me.
And I bet now you're all like, oh my gosh! Yeah, Woody Guthrie wrote This Land Is Your Land, one of the most patriotic songs in American history. Actually, that's not what he intended. He intended it to be much more questioning song by the end. He's asking, is this land made for you and me? But that part is typically censored out of the song because the American government doesn't like it very much. The second to last verse actually read, "In the shadow of the steeple I saw my people, by the relief office I seen my people. As they stood there hungry, I stood there asking, is this land made for you and me?" That changes the meaning a little bit. But even with this darker side that Woody Guthrie showed to his songs, he still always maintained that sense of hope and that sense that this land could be for everyone. And so that was what he tried to get through with his songs. He never wanted to put people down. He always wanted to bring people up. Woody Guthrie's activism and willingness to speak out for what he believed in influenced a lot of people. One of his major influences was on some guy named Bob Dylan.
And so, my friend, is a blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind.
Bob Dylan has credited Woody Guthrie as one of his biggest influences. When Bob Dylan was 19 years old, he visited Woody Guthrie in the hospital, and after that meeting, he wrote a song called Song to Woody. Needless to say, Bob Dylan probably wouldn't have been the artist he was without Woody Guthrie. The other person who has credited Woody Guthrie as one of his biggest influences is a person simply known as Bruce. No, not that one. Bruce Springsteen. Bruce Springsteen has been one of the most vocal about his influence from Woody Guthrie. He constantly pays tribute to him in his concerts by covering his songs.
If you pick up the newspapers, you see millions of people out of work. You see a blood fight over decent health care for our citizens, and you see people struggling to hold on to their homes. If Woody Guthrie were alive today, he'd have a lot to write about high times on Wall Street and hard times on Main Street.
Chris J., singer and songwriter for the band Army of Freshmen, has said that Woody Guthrie has had an influence on most modern musicians, from folk to punk to rap, whether they know it or not. Singing about social issues and expressing personal beliefs through music is something that artists do subconsciously today, and Woody Guthrie was one of the first people to do it. So then there was... I only get to make a 10-minute presentation? Okay, gotta hurry this up a little bit. Here's why Woody Guthrie needs to be in the Hall of Fame. 1. He wanted to make America a better place. He never lost hope, and he made sure that no one else ever did either. 2. He was the voice of the majority in America for nearly 20 years. He lived through so many huge, prominent historical events in American history: the Dust Bowl, the Great Depression, World War II. He also lived through so many prominent social problems, such as communism and the Red Scare, the suffering of migrant workers, the suffering of poor people, the corruption in business and government. And somehow he managed to take all of this and put it into music. 3. He's been able to influence so many people through his music and through his message. His desire for social justice is a trait that's timeless, and it will continue to influence people for many, many generations to come. And that's what Woody Guthrie wanted. He wanted everyone, no matter who they were, to come together, to rally together, and celebrate music. And that's why Woody Guthrie should be in the U.S. History Hall of Fame.